connect without no more Tejada's knowing.
Good. I'm taking 20%.
Customers. We need to make real money. It's a death wish.
I can't wait to see his body turn cold.
Pull the triggers. They gotta get what's coming to them.
So this was the season trailer that was released for season 4, which was actually surprising. They do normally drop the season trailer after episode 1, but with this season being split into 2 with a 2-month break, I did think maybe this time around we might not see one. But with that being said, with most of these scenes I do expect them to be in episodes 1 through to 5. There may be a few that are from episode 6 onwards, but definitely a whole host of them are from this first part. We've got Davis embracing his criminal side, Tariq and Brayden finding a new alliance, which might be at the expense of Noma. There's Kane's cage fight, business operations getting up and running from both, but they've also teased the trouble that will come with it. There's still the threat of Detective Don Carter, Noma still wants Tariq dead, and the entire dynamic within the Tejada family is going to be one full of twists and turns. Now with Tariq, I think he's going to have to realize or come to the realization to truly become free, which I always think is an illusion in power, but for him to free himself from the troubles he finds himself in, he's going to have to win this battle with Carter, Noma, and the Tejadas. He's going to have to become someone who he despises, just like they teased before season 4, and like they teased in episode 1, father like son. So with that being said, I am going to start with Tariq's character description just before we get into the season trailer scenes, because it definitely will give us a better understanding of where we are, as well as what we can expect. After season 3's finale, Tariq finds himself outgunned and outmatched. After finding himself bested by those he placed his trust in, his and his family's lives are threatened. Season 4's Tariq is determined to never allow that to happen again. His plan is to crush everybody who went against him, because the best way to stay safe in the game is to run the game. It's not enough to kill his enemies, he's going to make them wish he had, granting them a fate worse than death. Where we've seen Tariq dream of being free from the game last season, we now see Tariq determined to sit at the top of the pyramid, because the only way to stay on top is to cripple anybody else's chances of climbing up the bottom. So Tariq's finally come to the realization of who he wants to become. Whether or not he accepts he's very similar to his father come the end of season 4, who knows. But this is what Tommy warned him at the end of season 3. You're either a civilian or a gangster, pick a lane and stay in it. And it looks like he's finally made his decision, or he will make his decision at some point in season 4. However, at this moment in time he finds himself with no connect, lack of alliances, product, and he's completely broke. So in comes Davis McLean.
I need to connect without no more Tejada's knowing.
Good. I'm taking 20%.
We've got Davis McLean and Tariq in conversation, where Davis tells Tariq he's taking 20%. Now the 20% he could be referring to could be the business or profits, because it does look and sound as if Tariq is going to go to Davis for money. That's the only person he can turn to at this moment in time, who we know would have a boatload of cash. He's not got very many allies, but Davis was one person who had his back in episode 1. He could have easily given Tariq up to Noma and Obi, but he didn't. He stayed loyal. However, just while we're on the topic of Davis, there's still a big question mark around his role as an investor, consigliere, or a mentor to Tariq. We all know that Davis will be entering the criminal world. His law license is suspended, and if he gets disbarred, even worse. But when it comes to Davis McLean, he's choosing to side with Tariq, as he'll be doing in episode 2, because of their history and he knows he can pay well. He also probably feels Tariq is going to end up on the winning side, because Davis doesn't like being on the losing end. But let's see when the going gets tough, because there are going to be moments for everybody where they have their backs against the wall, and where they have to make decisions to survive. On the flip side, I am quite excited to see Davis kind of mentoring Tariq as he comes up and tries to take over. We know Davis has a criminal history because it was said he used to run the streets with Theo, so there could be a lot to learn from someone like Davis McLean. He could have a lot of contacts that could come in use for Tariq, and I personally wouldn't mind seeing more of this.
She has to go, Tariq.
Ooh.
You'll never get to use it if Lauren testifies. Which reminds me, she has to go too.
So there definitely is a lot to look forward to with these two teaming up. Now in the season trailer we also see Tariq making his move. It seems like he's managed to source some cash, maybe from Davis. It seems like he's also managed to make a new crazy alliance and find a new connect. We know from the crew has a podcast that they do work with a new crazy character, so maybe this is where they meet that particular character.
We have a character in season 4 next season who is probably the most unpredictable person Michael and I have worked with. And this
Unpredictable in what way?
Just, he was crazy.
But just how does he plan on moving his product? That's the question. Noma made it explicitly clear she doesn't want to hear any word about Tariq moving product on the streets. That was one of the agreements that Tariq made when he came to a truce. So Tariq is going to have to figure out a way to move undetected, because I'm sure he doesn't want to work a 9 to 5 at Stansfield. I mean, this image from episode 2 with him in this blue polo is crazy. He's gone from flying on private jets, driving a Porsche, buying watches and tailor-made suits, all the way back down to reality. It also shows you the position that he is going to be in, but a position which he'll definitely try and figure a way out of, because like he says, he does need to make real money, and at the end of the day, money equals power. Money means he can challenge the likes of Nomar and the Tejadas. Money means he has a better chance of keeping his family safe, and have a better chance of eventually dethroning Nomar and taking her position. Now just how he intends to move his product undetected, it is going to be very difficult, but this is Tariq St Patrick we're talking about. We know he's very business savvy and very entrepreneurial. He sees opportunities where others don't. So I do wonder if he's moving product at this club, where he's smoking on that junior pack. Back in Power, we saw Dre moving product at Truth, and goes to the nightclubs with a very sophisticated method. So I do wonder if Tariq is able to come up with something similar. Now we also have Brayden warning Tariq, it's a fucking death wish. But look, let's be real, what is it in the game that they're in? They're definitely going to have to take risks if they want to stay one step ahead of Nomar and their competition, because she's not going to let it rest. So the only way for Tariq and Brayden to come out as eventual winners is by beating Nomar at her own game. Now on Nomar, she still wants blood. This particular scene with Kane is going to be in episode 2 based on the trailer, which I wouldn't be surprised if it is around the betrayal from within her own organisation. We know Obi helped Tariq at the end of season 3, but I don't think it's quite the end. Nomar definitely will start to question some of the shit that's happening beneath her, so that Obi betrayal and having Kane in a stranglehold is just one to watch. Now she also tells him that she's not going to rest until his body is cold, and you can only assume she's talking about Tariq. Maybe she's found out Tariq is beginning to move product, or maybe he's actually fucking with Nomar's organisation. Maybe Tariq's got to this connect or made this alliance before Nomar could. I mean, for Tariq to really come out on top, he's not just going to have to build his own empire, he's going to have to cripple Nomar's at the same time. And this Tariq in season 4 is different. He has to turn into the apex predator. He's a man on a mission. Anybody in his way will feel his force. Of course, he is going to come up against new threats and problems, as always, but I don't think Nomar realizes who she's actually dealing with, a St. Patrick. Now, just sticking with this scene for a moment, it does look like they're all going to be at the same place when Kane has his cage fight. Why they're all here, as I mentioned before, maybe this is where they can find their new alliance. We know Nomar's going to be looking for new ways to move a product, and the Russians could be one of them. But maybe both of them are here because they're both seeking out an opportunity with whoever runs this underground fight operation. So maybe Tariq, Brayden, and Davis McLean have got here before Nomar and Kane have, and just managed to get the upper hand on this particular instance. So there definitely are going to be a lot of punches thrown, not just in the cage fight.
I know who you fucking are, and I'm gonna put you where you belong.
Detective Don Carter is out to put Tariq where he belongs, something we are going to see in episode 2. So aside from Tariq getting back up on his feet, building his organisation and empire, he is going to have to keep his head on a constant swivel for law enforcement. Carter doesn't look like he's here to play games. How he goes about conducting himself, I think we've got a pretty good idea already. He's going to take a no-holds-barred approach, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's dirty as fuck. Not many law enforcement officers on Power play by the book, and Carter doesn't seem like someone who does either. But, just like we asked the question for Nomar, does he realise who he's going up against? A St. Patrick. So let's see how this chess match unfolds. They've definitely laid the foundation in episode 1, but we are going to see the first meeting in episode 2.
We need to cut everybody off and get back to family first.
What? Family, Monet. Pull the fucking triggers.
Now on Monet, and the whole dynamic with the Tejadas, we've got Monet saying they need to cut everybody off and get back to being family first, with Drew's response being, what family? And this is where they are at this moment in time. For Drew, he's still holding a lot of hatred, especially for the way she handled the Gordo and Lorenzo situation. So instead of looking at Monet as their mother, he's now looking at her like she's more of an enemy or a problem, which also in turn is making him make silly and reckless decisions. And that's where I feel like his character direction is going, along with the war with Kane. But what I would also say is, Drew can definitely be a dangerous character, especially if he's got nothing to lose. I do feel like he's going to lose the battle with Kane eventually, but I wouldn't be surprised if he caused absolutely chaos in between. Now elsewhere we've got a couple of scenes that we've already seen before in the official trailer, which is why I think most of these scenes are from episode 2 through to 5. We've got Tariq coming face to face with Diana, where I do feel like she will drop that bombshell to stop Tariq pulling the trigger. We've got a standoff with him putting his hands on Salim and Monet screaming. There's Kane asking Drew to pull the trigger, as well as Kane shooting a car that was driving away, which who knows, could even potentially be Drew. So those are a couple of scenes we've seen before, but I still don't think we've seen anything just yet. I do think there are a lot of surprises in store. There's definitely going to be a lot of twists, turns, some major reveals and secrets exposed. What they're showing us from these teasers and trailers, I only think they're kind of scratching the surface. But let me know what you think of the season preview down below in the comment section. Come the end of season 4, will Tariq come out as a winner? I do think he will, but it is going to come at a cost. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.